On this episode of the Soul Twin Stars podcast.
How did that happen? He's like, there's no way you could have crawled under there and done that.
Stand by it and don't let anyone tell you different, and don't be influenced by anyone's bullshit.
We have to keep each other from delving into a spiral of depression.
Just go on with your life the best that you can. That's going to most quickly and efficiently keep you sane and happy and balanced.
Hi, I'm Lady Shadow, a witch with much to share, stirring the cauldron with magical self-care.
Hi, I'm Peaceful Nik, a medium divine. I chat with the dead and interpret every sign.
We are Soul Twin Stars, best friends through it all.
From spells to healing, we're answering the call.
From moon cycles to menopause and making peace with the dead.
We aren't afraid to talk about what's rarely said.
So tune in each week to get raw, real, and wise.
Let's talk about a spiritual life with absolutely no disguise. Welcome to the Soul Twin Stars podcast, Uninhibited Spirituality. We'd like to first thank this week's episode sponsors, Beans and Buttercream Bakery. They ship the most delicious baked goods anywhere. Follow them on their Facebook page, Beans and Buttercream Bakery. Also, Abernathy Photography, serving Western Kentucky and beyond, specializing in digital photography, weddings, and so much more. They now also feature drone photography. You can book them at abernathyphotography.com. And lastly, if you find yourself in Westchester County, New York, just north of New York City, Fino Restaurant in Croton-on-Hudson, New York, serves the most delicious, authentic Italian food. That's Fino Restaurant, Fino. And now, back to our episode.
Welcome back to the Soul Twin Stars podcast, everybody. This wonderful day after Christmas, the first day of Kwanzaa. For all who celebrate, Hanukkah has passed. And any other special holiday that you celebrate, winter solstice, for those Wiccans out there, like my beautiful co-host, Lady Shadow. What kinds of things do you do for the solstice?
Do what everybody else does. I eat, I sleep, I work. No, I don't always do something special for the solstice. Probably like you, a little fun moon magic, a little inner reflection, the usual, the post-holiday stuff, catching up with everything and writing thank you cards and planning for the new year.
Astronomy is the science of the motion of the stars and planets, etc., etc. And the winter solstice is the shortest period of daylight of the year, which happens December 21st-ish, approximately. And that is the celebration of when the days start to get longer. The days aren't actually getting longer, but the period of daylight is getting longer. So that is why it was a celebration in ancient times, because it's like, oh, the winter's finally ending. We're going to move towards spring, even though there's quite a bit of winter still left. But it is a time to celebrate because the darkness is leaving and the lightness is coming. And so that is what winter solstice is. And then the summer solstice is just the opposite, the longest period of daylight on the planet. And the equinoxes, which are in spring and fall, are equal daylight and nighttime. So that's a little astronomy lesson to get us started today.
In the spring, we love it being light out until 9:40.
Yes, exactly. Summer is the best for daylight. It was 6:00 earlier, and I'm like, it's dark. I feel like it's 10:00 at night. What's happening? So
I've hated that this month. I hate as soon as daylight savings hits, because my favorite time of day is like 8 p.m. when it's light out. It's like the dusky time.
And that's why, for those of you, if you follow my Instagram stories especially, I always post just about every day, the sunrise, just about every day. And today I was driving to the college where I work, and I saw a full rainbow completely around the sun. And it was very special circumstances for that to happen. And I was in the car, I was not driving, and I took some pictures through the window. It's okay, but it's just not as perfect as without the car window there. And then by the time I got to a place where I could park, the situation changed and I couldn't see it. So follow my Instagram stories if you want a lot of sunlight pictures. Peaceful Nik, the medium.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Lady Shadow, how do you keep track of your goals for a year? What do you do? Do you set goals? Do you set intentions? How do you do that?
I do. I have a little burn ceremony where I get rid of the stuff from the year before. I write out everything I want to do for the new year. Honestly, I'm doing a lot of planning ahead of time. I plan my year because I have theatrical events that have to be laid out way months ahead of time. So unfortunately, I have to plan this like November of the year before. So, a few weeks ago before Christmas, I did my whole 2026 lineup. But as far as personal goals, yeah, it's like all goes into the same pot. It's like, here's what I want to do, by spring. Here's what I want to do by summer. Here's what I want to do during the summertime. And then I break that into kind of subcategories: personal, professional, business, that kind of thing. And generally by the end of the year, I've got about 60% of those goals met. It's not perfect every time, but we certainly try, right? But
Absolutely. And
yeah, so
I want to applaud you for that because I never did that before this year, before
really,
2025. Not like that. No, there were thoughts I had, but I never really planned it out because when you have a certain career for so long, you're just like, this is what it is. This is my life, blah, 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 blah. But then my life shifted into mediumship from full-time teaching. And now it's a very different thing. And now I have my trusty, beautiful, cosmic journal that I love, and I write my goals in, and
I love that.
it's beautiful. I got this at a witchy store nearby, and it's an old ancient cosmology journal that was designed in the year 1375 by Catalan Atlas. And it's so beautiful. And it was only $17. And I was like,
That's really cool.
"Ching, let's get that." And so I wrote my goals in that for 2025. And I've accomplished more than what I planned for probably the first time ever in my life.
Wow. That's amazing.
So,
And it's also
so
about writing realistic goals, right?
right.
So if
Yes.
you are putting together something for the year, maybe note right on there you want to be a surgeon
If
by
you're a
next year
if you're a ceramic maker,
if you've never been to medical school,
right.
right? And then start small, think big, start small, and then just move your way through it, and just be gentle on yourself. The other thing is, I love that you write it down, because a lot of people will say that if it's written down, that it's more powerful than putting in a computer, putting it into a phone. You can certainly put the goals into the phone so you can look at them and access them more frequently, right? But if you are actually using a pen and paper, there's something about the physical act of writing that makes things manifest quicker. This is just
I listen, I believe that 1,000,000%. And not only that, also when you are learning, it's better to write. And that's a scientific fact because I was a teacher for so long. We had to take a lot of professional development and read a lot of studies. And one of the studies was when students type versus handwrite, there's something in the handwriting that makes it
yes,
go to their brain versus aimlessly typing.
it is a magical thing to
Yes,
do the coordination and the time it takes, and to write out each letter and each word. There's something about, again, like you said, transferring. I mean, typing is a physical thing too into the digital world, and that's great because everything is frequency.
right,
But like you said, it's the eye hand coordination,
right.
it's the paying attention and really being thoughtful about something when you're writing versus just having an autocorrect type of word for you.
Oh, let me tell you something about autocorrect, just as an aside. I turned autocorrect off on my phone within the first month of a phone that I had that had autocorrect because I never mean duck. Let's just start with that. And they've switched it now. Now it doesn't autocorrect the F word. Um, but for a long
Those
time,
fucking ducks.
for a long time, it did autocorrect the F word. But and it's just in general. I say words like photosynthesis and chemioosmosis into my phone, and it is not going to write those down.
Unbelievable.
So I cannot have that autocorrect on. But
Exactly.
back to the matter at hand. I am thrilled that you've been writing your goals for a long time. And the fact that you said you get about 60% done, that's
Yeah.
realistic, right? Everybody,
Yeah.
life happens and things are going to come and get in our way. And we're not
Absolutely.
always going to get everything done. And we should be kind to ourselves if we don't. If I make ceramics and I want to be a surgeon, I'm not going to do it in a year.
That's what I'm saying. We got to be gentle on ourselves.
Exactly.
Gentle, realistic. And then sometimes, like, there'll be a separate column for the big dreams, like super wild dreams that, like, in another lifetime, or you got a crush on someone and your chances are like this big, but you know what? Write it down anyway. I mean, what's it going to hurt? I actually go through and I write everything on its own paper and then put it into a special box. So each big one it's a little condensed. Like if it's a business thing, it'll all be condensed into a paragraph, small paragraph. And then I'll take that little piece of paper and put it into like a little special little box on my altar and just let it sit. And then I'll go through them at the end of the year. Oh, that one's good. That one's good. That one's good. And I'll take them out one at a time and go, oh, look at that. Look what I accomplished, but
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the audience how you came up with that? Is that a thing? Was that something you made up? Like, explain how you came up with that process and why it works.
Well, it's old Wiccan tradition where you just write down your desires, things that you don't want. Like I said, what we do is this year I was in Kentucky once again for the new year. And so we always do this cute thing where we, again, write down in individual strips what we want to take with us into the new year and what we want to leave behind. And we have a whole burn ritual. So we go outside.
Awesome.
Yeah, we like burn what we didn't want or don't want for the new year, what doesn't work for us anymore, what we don't absolutely want for the new year, and keep what we want and bring that with us. And then we tuck it away somewhere secret. My baby sister doesn't have a special box, but she has a drawer. So she might put stuff in there. And so we have a little ritual around it, like a little peaceful meditation. And then we do some fun karaoke. And then we talk about our goals and like how we can help each other get to those goals, how we can support each other. And then we brainstorm because we're all kind of entrepreneurs like you and I. So we brainstorm together how we can help each other with these goals along the way at different points of, meeting back for business ideas. Because we do a lot of business brainstorming like you and I do.
Right.
So that's just a fun thing. And also keeping it in a safe designated place. If you want to add to it later, you can. You can also put it out somewhere so that you see it regularly. So it reminds you, hey, my goals are in there. So when things get really hectic and you're busy, and if it's in a place that you normally like when I'm in my living room, I look around at a lot of the same things. Like when you're in your office, you're probably, when your mind wanders, you look at the same things, the same focal points and go, I love that thing, or it helps you focus, right? So put the box or the container somewhere that you look often in a common area. And then it will remind you your goals are sitting there waiting to manifest for you. That's what I do. It helps.
I love that. And so when you do the burning part, that's at the end of the year. Is that correct?
Yes. Got a little coffee on my shirt, but you guys can't see that.
Can't see it.
Yeah, I do the burning at the end of the year. You can do the burning anytime you want. I mean, let's say you just got out of a horrible relationship and
you not
want that energy.
You're not going to burn him.
You want that energy gone. Just you could write the person's name down. You could write the bad parts of that relationship and just kind of do your own. Remember, safely burn. Put it in a bowl that's not plastic. Use glass. Use steel. Use alloy. Something that's safe. And just light a little match to it and watch it go out. And while you're watching it go out, releasing the energy is so important. So it's harnessing and releasing. So that's what I do on a regular basis, even through the moon phases, releasing and bringing in, releasing and I think that all of us do that on a daily basis as we make decisions on how to go through our day, right?
Right.
Like today, this week, what has to get done this month. But nobody really thinks about the higher level goals. It's more like, well, I want to make more money. Well, I got to pay off my credit cards, or I want to get a better job. But if we think higher than that, beyond that, to the frequency of the quantum brain, right, where we go deeper and say, I don't just want a better job. I want the perfect job for me. I want the job that utilizes my talents. I want to work with people who are also excited to be doing that job too. You're looking for a new partner. It's more than just somebody who's just loyal to me, someone who won't cheat on me, but someone who will bring out the absolute best in you, someone to fall head over heels for, that once in a lifetime person, and they're out there, that will meet most of your needs, but overall will give you a joyful life experience. I always ask my friends when they start bitching about their partners, pie chart it for me. So picture, the full circle, and you don't even have to draw it out, but in your mind, when I'm asking someone to kind of snapshot for me, the idea, the summary of how happy they are, I'll say, give me, what percentage of the time you are happy and satisfied fully, like no tension. You feel sexually satisfied. You feel emotionally satisfied, peaceful harmony. And most of my friends will say it's about 30% of the time I feel that good, instead of it being more like 70 or 80, right? And so when you're skewed and have to actually think about it visually and fill in the chart, it's scary when my friends realize, oh shit, I've got a 30% fulfillment here. This isn't good.
Right. So it's like it helps you become more solutions based.
Yes.
Than just complaining all the time, which I would imagine every human in the world has called their best friend and complained about their partner to some degree or other, some more than others. And if you haven't, that's probably scarier because
That means you have no outlet, which sucks.
exactly.
Or if you're talking about it with coworkers, that's fine, or another family member. It's good to talk about your grievances, but more importantly, it's one thing to vent, to get feedback, but it's another to vent, just to vent and never to do anything about it.
Right.
Solution. You got to be solutions oriented at some point. Listen, there's a way to find a solution even while you're venting. And if you don't leave a relationship and you're in that interim phase, there's still something to do other than vent about it, right? There's counseling.
It's so interesting. I saw a video today of a woman talking about just what you mentioned. It's like you're psychic or something. And she was talking about people who are in relationships and they're not at the point financially, or there's other complications with property or children or jobs or whatever. There's a bunch of complications. It's okay to leave your relationship while you're in your relationship and make an exit plan when it's more feasible.
Yes.
And it was fascinating because it's like, wow, that's fascinating, because there are a lot of people who say to others, well, why don't you just leave? And it's like, well, some people don't have the capacity to leave. What about a trad wife who's got 8 kids in a row and she's sitting at home making chocolate chip cookies all day, right? She has no resources, right? Because she's been indoctrinated. That's a whole other podcast.
Exactly.
But I love that we're talking about writing it down, come to a solution. And this is with our personal lives, our business lives, our relationships. For me, my goal this year, which I didn't write down, it was just something in my mind because I was so like about it, like this is happening, was friendships, family relationships, romantic relationship, my husband. I'm not having other ones. I'm just saying my romantic relationship. I have this policy now of I have strict boundaries, don't cross them. If you're not self-reflecting, you can't stay. If
Or
you're
self-regulating
if you're not
while you're communicating.
self-regulating, you need to go somewhere else and be dysregulated because you're not going to be around me.
Right.
If you are a low effort friend or family member, you can't stay. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, if your opinion of me is something from 40 years ago, which actually did happen recently to me, if your opinion is from 40 years ago and you haven't grown at all, you're gone. Like, I can't have a relationship with somebody who's living 40 years ago and makes no effort. So, my goals for personal relationships this year were boundaries. I'm happy to tell anybody if anybody has a question, call me up. I'm happy to explain it. I'm happy to tell you why I don't have a relationship with you. And if you just want to stand back and talk about me in your own special way, that's okay. That's your frequency, not mine. It's not, I mean, technically it's bad to put that vibration out there, but you're really not technically hurting me because I am so happy with the group of loved ones I have in my life that I communicate with regularly, that I'm so filled up with so much positive energy and love, which I highly recommend to everyone. That it's okay if you want to stay over there and be mad,
Yeah.
go ahead and be mad. That's okay. That's your journey. Don't, I'm not letting your anger, dysregulation, immaturity, low vibe bring me down. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to prove to you or anyone else that I'm worthy enough for you. I'm worthy enough for me. Mic drop.
I love it. I call that spiritually booked up, where you are fully booked. You have the friend circle that you need. You've got the family intact. You've got the balance that we're all achieving, right? That we're all striving for. And we all know when we're overbooked, right? And so at some point we need to just say, you know what? This is perfect. This is the perfect balance. I have another friend who is, and you and I talked about this, I think, on the side, who is so socially booked constantly. She has a social calendar that is insanely,
Sounds like a nightmare.
every single weekend,
You're
right?
giving me anxiety.
I
You're
know.
giving
I
me
get anxiety even
anxiety.
thinking about it. Every single weekend is for someone else. Every single weekend is someone else's shower, someone else's birthday party. It's never just the two of them as the couple. It's always run, 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 run. Like, I think maybe there's 2 weekends a year where they're not booked up with other people's celebrations. And I'm just thinking, how is there any time to be self-reflective or to be for the couple? Like, if there's no time for you and you and you, oh my gosh, like, I can't even imagine just running to a party every single weekend. I throw 4 parties a year, every 3 months or so, and that keeps me pretty full,
Right.
and I have 15 people over and we do games and barbecues and the whole thing, which is great. And I love the socialization of that.
It's a
But
lot
if
of
I had to
work.
do that every weekend, I would drive myself
Yeah,
insane.
it's a lot of work. It's a
It
lot of
is.
work. I
Even
just
to go
had
to
my
somebody else's house.
Yeah, I just had my own family here for Thanksgiving last month, and there was only 4 adults and a baby and a dog and our cat that has since passed. Rest in peace, Musha. Um, and it was so much work for one
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't imagine, and my goal, going back to goals going forward, is to sit with myself more. I do have a lot of alone time because I work all my jobs from home. I have several.
We
Gotta
all
have
do.
those streams, gotta have those streams coming in.
You are talking to 2 people who work 24/7 from, oh
But
no,
I do
I guess
have
it's a 20 and 4. We work a few hours outside of the home. Yeah.
I do have plenty of alone time, but I do work a lot in that alone time. And so my goal for next year and from now till next year, through next year is to sit more with my feelings
I love it.
because I have not done that for long enough periods of times. I've done it a little, but I haven't done it a lot. And I know people in my life who, just like you described, run, 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 cannot sit still, cannot sit with their feelings. And those are the people who are emotionally dysregulated. Those
Yeah.
are the people who can't sit with themselves for more than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Those are the people who have baggage that they don't want to look at. And I am not saying that, oh, if you can't sit with yourself, you're just not good enough for me. And it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my hope is that more people can learn to sit with themselves. I have people I love deeply, deeply to my core who have a hard time sitting with their feelings. I have a hard time sitting with my feelings, but my hope is more people can start to just sit and feel it. And it was a big lesson. I know I talk about this darn cat all the time, but when she passed, it was a huge lesson for me. And I started to distract myself with something and I said, no, I made a conscious decision to sit with it and say, I'm just going to feel sad. I'm just going to feel the sorrow. Because like when my mom died in 1986, there was no time for sorrow. I got shipped across the country into a whole new life like that. Like my life changed overnight from one extreme to the other. And there was no time, like Princess Leia says in Star Wars, there's no time for sorrows. But now I'm having to learn to sit with it. And that is, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. I was afraid to do it a lot before. I would do it for a moment,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Grief. And you know what? And it sure, you get through it easier and with more grace if you do sit through it, because when the moments come, like you said, stop everything and just feel it. And then it doesn't pile on, right? You
right.
can move through it in a more healthy way in the long term. Like when my
Yes.
grandmother passed, there'd be such random times where I would burst out crying, missing her. Random times. I'd go the whole day, I'd be fine. And then I'd be in bed reading a book before bed. And then I would just burst out for no reason out of nowhere. And I'm like, nope, just let it go. Let it feel. I'm just going to feel it like you. I was not going to pretend it wasn't there. I wasn't going to choke it back. Just let it go. And thank God over time now I can talk to her and I can feel her presence and I can recognize when she's around. And I think and with your cat, I think you'll start sensing her.
Let me tell you
You
a
heard my
story.
dog's feet, like when we
Yeah.
were poloing. So your cat's going to show up.
No, let me tell you a story. This is crazy. This already happened. So we're recording this like less than a week after Musha passed away. This is 5 days, I think, since we put her down. This already happened. This is big. This is like, whoa. Our bed has plugs underneath of it because it rises up and vibrates and does all this stuff. And we've had that bed for 8 years and no problem has ever happened with it. There's never been a problem with any of it. It literally has the same remote control battery since the day we got it. So it's stable. 2 nights ago, last night or the night before, it wouldn't work just on my husband's side. And Musha's favorite person was my husband when she lived with us. It wouldn't work. And I go, oh, well, those remote batteries have never been changed. Check the batteries. And he checked them and it still wouldn't work. And I'm like, that's weird because my side was working. He crawled under the bed. And my husband, for those of you who don't know, is 6'6", so he's a whole foot taller than me and has much longer arms. He had to crawl under the bed. The thing was unplugged, not like a USB, like a little thing, no, like a plug. It was fully unplugged. And her favorite spot was under the bed.
Interesting.
And he's like, how did that happen? He's like, there's no way you could have crawled under there and done that. I'm like, why would I think
Why
of
would you
crawling
do
under? But he's just trying to process,
Of course.
how did this happen? And I go, listen, things happen to me all the time because of spirit. And I bet that was Musha just coming to say, hey, I'm still here to just, be in your life. And I'm a little blown away that that happened. Like, that's a big deal. Like, nobody else lives with us. We don't have
Yeah.
other pets. There's nobody else here.
And here's the other thing. Whether or not she did that, what she wanted to do was get your attention to go into the spot where she was, to think of her, to say,
Yes.
it's okay. Like, I'm thinking of you too, and I'm here. That's
Yes.
exactly it.
Oh,
So even if she didn't unplug it, the point is you went to her spot to remember her. And of course, you're not going to go under there unless you're remembering her. So,
I love how you explain that because I didn't think of it that way. And
yeah.
that's beautiful. That's accurate.
No,
And
but that's just one of two scenarios. And if it's the second scenario and she did unplug it, you've got a double duty awesome visit right
I mean, there's no way. It's like
there.
a big old plug, like
Yeah.
a big heavy
And,
plug. It's not
and
just
the next thing that will happen is you will feel the bed probably depressed, right?
listen, I was taking a nap today and I could feel her because she used to lick us. I could feel her on my face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
That's
I've been dreaming
so
about cats every night, of course. I have a wild, crazy dreams, everybody. So I have all kinds of visits and dreams.
that's
So,
amazing. I love
so
that.
yeah, so grief, that helped me. How you explain that helped me because that's an important point. Because
Mm.
yeah, even if it wasn't her, we got reminded
Well, that's the
of her.
paranormal investigator in me of years of piecing together visitations and how they happen. They come to you in a different way, but paranormally, when, for instance, you heard my doggy's paws in the middle of me doing a video
On
message
recording.
on recording, I still have it. And I even stopped when I was recording to acknowledge the sounds because I knew what I heard, right? And when I listen back, it's so obvious what it was, but it's not just those really clear moments, but it's like you said, it's like the little ways that they lead us to their remembrance.
Mhm.
And so that's why I feel like the plug is just one of two parts of leading you to the spot where to like take comfort of where and she was probably hanging out under there. She was probably saying,
Oh,
come on
yeah.
under here, Mom.
That was her spot under the bed.
Yeah,
That was her
yeah.
spot.
So
And
she was leading you to be in her
I
spot
can't
with her.
even get under the bed with my bad knees. So,
See, she said she wanted you to come into her little clubhouse. That's
oh,
so
that's
cool. I
awesome.
love that. I love that.
So, and we talked a bit about fur babies last week, and that's another part of grief that I think people who don't understand fur babies kind of were like, oh, it was just a dog, it was just a cat, it was just a horse. They're important. Their connection, they're so present and so important and so
Yes.
healing, and so it's we have to sit with our grief. We have to sit with it and grow. We grow. And like you said, or one of us said, it's when you don't do it, it comes out in a different way, often in emotional dysregulation.
Yes.
Like men feel safe being happy or angry, right? Men in our generation were taught it's okay to be happy or angry. You can't be sad. Big boys don't cry. That's how we grew up, right? Um, but when you don't have your full emotional expression at the proper time, it manifests in other ways. So the
Yeah.
goal for next year for me is to not allow anyone in my life to cross my boundaries, be emotionally dysregulated or any of that. So I'm very much looking forward to more of my own goals in my business, my science career, which is going great. I'm going to be a professor at a college over here. I didn't even apply for that job. Somebody headhunted me. Like
I
I'm
love being
becoming
headhunted.
I am becoming a manifesting maniac. So
I
many
love it.
crazy things I'm manifesting. It's unbelievable. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Somebody just emailed me. I'm from such and such college. Can you be an astronomy professor? Sign me up. You know, it's amazing. And so I'm very much looking forward to doing that and just being helping continue to raise the vibration, because we record these podcasts ahead of time. So I'm sure there's a bunch of news that has happened from the time we recorded it, because a lot of new stuff's supposed to be coming out over the next few days. But we are committed to helping others from now through next year, through our podcast, through our live streams, videos, whatever. We have to keep our heads on straight. We have to keep each other from delving into a spiral of depression, because things are going to get worse before they get better. And we have to understand, if we can all just hold each other's hands a little bit and hold each other's hearts a little bit, we can get through this without succumbing to insanity.
Agreed. And what you said about things happening in the world, there's always going to be something, whether it's medium, big, giant, small, and everybody will feel all of those different levels of things personally in different ways, right? So the process is still the same, like no matter what has happened since this podcast airs, it's important to remember that everything happens between the ears. It's a personal experience. It's how we handle it. It's our decisions. It's our peace of mind that is most important. And then how we project outward in handling what's going on in the world is how we can affect others by staying calm. Let's give it a perfect example. Car accident or emergency situation. There's always that one calm person. Like my husband, he's very nurturing, and I can do any body fluid except blood, right? I'm not good at dealing with any kind of blood, but he can do all the blood stuff. But if someone throws up on him, like the dog, or if somebody farts really loud near his face, he's like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. And I'm like,
because he had 4 brothers.
Had 4 brothers, right? So when one person can stay calm, isn't it amazing how the other person who is panicking can also latch onto that calming energy
Yes.
and stay calm too? So the more we stay calm and reassuring, not just for the audience, but for our own little inner circle, that energy does influence other energies, right?
Yes.
So the calmer we stay, the more balanced we stay. And again, keeping the news at bay. Don't take it personally. What's going to happen in the world is going to happen. You can do your part, but then you also have to do your own part, which is just go on with your life the best that you can. That's going to most quickly and efficiently keep you sane and happy and balanced, and the people around you happy, sane, and balanced.
Right.
And, a lot of times these forces that are, they're in our face, they feel close because they're on a television, but they're really not as close as we think.
Right.
And we can't let that in. So no matter what is going on or how things have developed, even if there's a nuclear accident somewhere, God forbid, we just have to hold the vibration high. And you and I always say that, just hold the vibration high no matter what, because that's the beginning of the butterfly effect.
Yes.
To heal as much as we can outward. It's not to take things and get, so upset that we can't even control ourselves anymore, because that just puts us, that's where they want you. They want you sitting in fear.
Yes.
They want you sitting in your own shit. So you can't move. You're paralyzed. You don't know what to do, or you panic in an over emotional load. And if you go out to protest or something, that's great. A peaceful protest is awesome. I'm all for that. I've done so many of those when I lived in New York. And since I've lived here, I've gone out. I have made my voice loud and proud. But do it with peace.
Right.
Do it because it brings you peace, not because it makes you more angry.
Right. And I was going to say something about that, and I can't, because something we talked about last week, but now I can't remember. The it went right out of my head. I'm 55 now.
We all bitches over here.
I wanted to say how you were talking about the one calm person in a situation. There's a great story in Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth that talks exactly about that. This woman came to his house. She was all upset. She was his neighbor. She had all these legal papers and she's going blah, blah, blah. And she's panicking and freaking out and spreading the papers all over the table and she's losing her mind. And he just sat in presence. He just sat very calmly. He didn't let her affect him. He didn't get out of control. He didn't start bitching about it with her. He just sat in presence. And then she gathered up her papers and quietly left. And the next day she came knocking on his door and she said, "What did you do to me last night?" He said, "Nothing." And she's like, "All my worries disappeared."
Yeah.
And she's
See?
like, "None of this stuff matters." And it's amazing. And I love that that Chris, he's Sagittarius too, right? He just had a birthday.
Yep. Yep. I have so many Sages in my life and I love it.
I'm the calm person in a panic situation in my family. Like
Yeah.
me and my oldest son are real calm in any kind of panic situation.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's interesting to see the different people in the family and the different ways they react. Like I don't know if this is a learned trauma response that I had to be calm in order for
You're a mom.
self-preservation.
Of course you had to learn that.
Yeah, exactly. Giving birth, I panicked so much when the doctor told me I had to start pushing the first time.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's got to come out. Like it hits you in a different way. Anyway,
I have that nightmare all the time. But I'm in a dream and I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh my God, the biggest scary part of the pregnancy is going through the blood
pushing.
part.
Yeah.
You can go through the pregnancy, like you can get through that, I think, for the most part. Because I was watching the episode of The Office where Pam gives birth and she was freaking out and trying to put it off going to the hospital to actually do it. And that's a cute episode. We were just watching that last night with dinner and I thought, oh my God. No, I mean, I hand it to you mothers. I knew I didn't want children for spiritual, emotional, physical reasons. You know, I chose a child-free life to be an artist. That's just what I did. But it doesn't mean I hold any less reverence for those who did choose to have children. And I think it's amazing. And I think it's a wonderful journey. And I hand it to you moms because it's the hardest thing you will ever do. So
It is. And I want to say that I know a lot of women who choose not to have children get a lot of shit from people.
we
And
do.
it's not fair.
We
And
get a lot.
it's not fair
Yeah.
because it's a wise decision when you know that it's not for you.
Yeah.
Because until you are a mother, you do not realize what it entails. And
Yeah.
if you out there are a mother, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain it. But yeah, so it is a wise choice.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, it's like any choice. I think that anytime you know something about yourself, because there's so much that we don't know about ourselves until we go through something, what you do know, stand by it and don't let anyone tell you different and don't be influenced by anyone's bullshit because it's like I said, it's so rare that we actually, when we do know something, that we actually stick to it because we let society change our minds all the time. That's one place that I would not let society change my mind. When I fell in love with Chris, it was very early on. I said to him, just so you know, I'm an artist like you, and I do not see in my future having a family. As much as I love you, as much as you are so handsome, and I would love to see what comes out, I have no interest in raising a child for the rest of my life because it goes on past 18. We all know that.
we do.
Yes, I absolutely. I mean, my mom didn't have to raise me past 17. I'll tell you that right now. But for everyone else, you know, it's because I was very dependent. But you know, I told him I had to be upfront with him. I said, "This is what you want out of the relationship. I'm sorry, but I cannot give that to you. As much as I'm in love with you, this was early on, full hormones. Like I said, I will
that
not.
was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
I said, I will
Tell
not
him.
change my mind on this. And if you think you're going to be with me to change my mind, then you really should walk away now because you're only 6 months in and you can get out scot-free." And he's like, I've always kind of been on the fence about that. But now that you've kind of solidified where you stand, he's like, I can totally get behind that. And he never, ever, ever asked me to change my mind. Never even for a second asked me to change my mind. And damn, do I respect that. Like, and so if you have a conviction out there, children, career, whatever it is, if you know that one thing about yourself, stick to it. everyone, and don't let anyone change your mind on that.
And make
Because
that
only
your
you know what brings
goal.
yourself peace. Yeah.
Make that your goal for the coming year.
Yes.
I remember when I was going to college the first time, I had a very dysfunctional relationship with a person who will remain unnamed. And every semester I started school. Now I had to go one or two classes at a time because I had to pay for it myself and I had to pay my rent. I moved out at 17 also in San Francisco, not cheap. On
Nope.
my own, no help, nobody paid for anything. I had to work two jobs and go to school part-time. I did it. I'm grateful for all of it. But this person every semester would give me crap about he was very jealous and insecure. And he's like, you're gonna meet somebody and blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm just a nerd that wants to learn crap and I want to get my degree. Leave me alone. And as much as young and in love as I was, that's the one thing he couldn't shake me off of.
That's right.
I didn't care what anybody on earth said or did. I was going to go to school. I was going to get my degree and no one could stop me. And, and then when I married my husband, who is a different person, by the way, than the other person, when I married my husband, he wanted six kids. And I'm like, you can have six kids. I'm having two. That's it. So,
And I bet now he's grateful for just the two, right?
honestly,
I wonder if he has regrets now. Like,
I don't know that.
More.
Yeah, I don't know that he has regrets, but I don't think he would have been upset if we would have had more. Like he would have been fine with it. I would not have been fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more kids in a family, and those of you who come from big families can attest to this, the more dysfunction there is.
Yeah.
It just is. There's just so much more going on. And
Yeah.
all the kids can't get all the attention and on and on and on and on problems.
Yeah. And I also wanted to address, I think I addressed this the last podcast too, but talking about being okay once again, and this could be a goal, a goal for anybody going into the new year is rearranging your relationships and, like you said, new boundaries. There was a big article that came out that did a huge survey on people about how many people were no contact with their family members, right? It was like a third.
Mm-hmm.
A third of us don't have contact with one or more, mostly more than one family member for very healthy reasons, right? And there's like people give you shit about a big decision like not having children. People also like to give you shit if you aren't speaking to, especially a parent. A sibling is like, a lot of siblings don't get along. But a parent or grandparent, if there wasn't like some horrible abuse going on, there's no excuse not to talk to your parents and all of that. It's like, again, going into the new year, if you're going to be happier, setting boundaries down where you need to set those relationships, and like I was calling it, being booked, spiritually
Right.
perfectly booked up to where you are satisfied with your circle. Again, like, listen to your heart. No one can make these decisions for you but you, and you don't have to explain yourself to anyone
Right.
about
Right.
why you're doing what
They
you're
know.
doing.
They already know. They know.
Yes.
And you said something, and I want to address it briefly. You said people who go no contact without horrible abuse. I would say if you're going no contact, most of the time, unless somebody's just has some mental health issues, the person who's going no contact, if there wasn't horrible abuse, even just conversations that are insulting, that's horrible abuse. It is. And we as women have been programmed to accept that. And we've been, especially our generation, the feral children that were raised around people who just said and did whatever in front of kids, to kids. And we were never taught as children, that girl children especially, that you should be respected and you should be talked to respectfully and you shouldn't be insulted and body shamed if you gain a pound or two or 5 or 10. You should be loved for everything you love, you should be loved and accepted for it. You should be loved unconditionally. You should be allowed to have your feelings. You should be allowed to explore different avenues and different interests. You should not have a parent who tries to box you into what they want you to do. And as a teacher, I saw this all the time. All the time. Parents who were, I had a kid who was so controlled by his parents that he started having panic attacks so severely. And he was a straight A student, incredible athlete. Of course, he was a straight A student. His parents were professionals. One was a therapist, one was a surgeon. So he had clothes and meals and a good school. So on the outside, he should have had this perfect life, but they were so hard on him. Their love was conditional, even though they masked it as, we love him so much, but if he doesn't meet these standards that we require, we are going to be judgmental. And he had such panic attacks so badly, it incapacitated him, and he had to quit just about all the sports he was in because he couldn't get to the games because his panic attacks were so bad. And it's like, that's a shame. That is definitely on the parents because it started when he was probably 14 or 15 years old. And he was a great kid, sweet kid, but just very damaged. And that alone is horrible abuse. What
I
that
agree.
boxing kids into your expectations and your conditional love is abuse.
Yeah.
Period.
And if we could revamp our education system
Oh,
to at least pick up where the parents are incapable or will not talk. I know a parent right now who has two children, 16 and 14, and he has still, or his wife, talked to them about the birds and the bees. How do you get that far at that age where they're probably already experimenting and have not had the talk? And I don't, it, like, it just blows me away. But aside from that, what you're talking about, if the parents don't have the skills to sit down and know their children enough to say, this one needs different things than this one. This one has different talents than this one. This one's more creative. This one's more intellectual. This one's more sensitive. This one's more masculine and all about the sports. Then at least, God, if we could just get into the education system and create a class where kids can tell you what their strengths are and what they see in life to be the puzzle piece that fits for them, right? Wouldn't that just change everything? But oh no, they don't want that because the corporations want you to come out to be a corporate slave. So they don't want anyone empowered and individually. Like, nobody wanted me to be a full-time artist. Are you kidding? Not only did they say, well, now you're going to be sucking on your mama's financial teat for the rest of your life. Well, first of all, my mom didn't have any money to give me anyway. So what tit am I going to be sucking on, right? So I've got no rich parents to support me, and I still want to find a way to do this. Let me figure it out. I'm a freaking Scorpio. I will figure it out, which is why I left at 17 to go figure it out. But not only do you have to, when you're young, deflect what people don't or do want from you because you don't have the strength to stand up. I did, but most people don't. You have to figure out how to make that work. So you might have a desire, but have no idea how to get from A to B. And nobody teaches you that.
Right. That's what I was going to say. So yes, the education system needs to be completely revamped. Absolutely 100%. But parents need to understand. So we have the pendulum swinging with parents, right? Our generation, we were feral children, so we wanted to be helicopter parents, right? So we got to get involved. My parents never went to any of my activities or games or anything. My mom went to one volleyball game in my life and then she died. And my dad and stepmom never participated in anything I did. Know nothing about my life, essentially, to this day. And so parents need to take ownership of like you said, this kid's more masculine, this kid likes sports, this kid likes art, this kid has different needs than this kid, and need to understand. So it really starts with parenting as well. Like, and schools need to just be bulldozed over and start from scratch. School could be 90% online, except for
Agreed.
the little kids, that's a
Yeah.
different story. But high school and
Or half,
college,
half and half.
90% online.
Yeah.
Sports can be at the campuses, labs can be at the campuses,
Theater,
theater,
arts.
all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
as far as the academic, because, and I know this, teachers now say, get in front of the computer, do your assignment. There's no more teaching. So that's another whole story.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
for my 2020, while we are wrapping up here, my 2026 goals, boundaries, don't let anybody act any certain way that I don't like. Now that doesn't mean if you make one mistake, I reject you. That's not what I mean at all. I have compassion and understanding, but when there's a pattern of behavior, that's what we need to look at. People have patterns of behavior, and if they are not willing to self-reflect and look at it and say, you know what, I made a mistake. I'm going to work on that. And then if they work on it, that's a different story. But if they keep doing it, that's a choice. And
Yeah.
I'm not. So my goal is continue growing my business, continue teaching astronomy and working on my Mars projects, and continue getting on other podcasts and helping people heal in my mediumship business and growing that and working with helping parents heal. I'll be doing I'll announce some group readings for helping parents heal this coming year. I'm very excited about that. So I've got all the goals. I'm ready. I'm ready to go for 2026 and keep the vibe high. Everybody, no matter what news has been announced from the time we recorded this to the time it's released on December 26th, we have to stay together and keep the vibe high.
Yes. The energy, and stay self-reflective. And like you just said, there's a difference between people making mistakes and people completely seeing you and misunderstanding your entire being, and which can lead to a lifetime of bullying and dysfunctionality, right? So we have to know the difference between an isolated incident versus, like you were saying, a pattern of treatment. And that's where the boundaries come in. And that's also knowing yourself. And there are 3 different ways, really quickly, to know, like you were saying, sit with yourself, sit with your feelings, turn off everything, just have an inner chat with yourself in a most relaxing way that you can. Then there's meditation. And then there's like, the I call it half in, half out, where right before bed, you're trying to go to sleep, but instead, what is your mind doing? I gotta do this tomorrow, I gotta do that tomorrow, I got this little pig, and you get the flash of all the crazy thoughts. So it's like the half in, half out, the all for you, and the meditation you. I think if we just try to bring all those together in the new year, all the goals will be met, because you will have learned to, like you say, self-regulate. So let's all self-regulate in 2026. Let's be peaceful. Let's achieve our dreams. Let's enjoy life a little bit more. Exchange a few more hugs and smiles, and let's make it happen.
Support each other. Turn off the news. Stop doom scrolling. Do more things by hand. Crochet, knit, make a puzzle, play Monopoly, play cards. Turn off electronics. Do an electronic detox. That's that.
100%.
If a meteorite's coming, somebody's going to call you. Okay.
If a meteorite's coming, Nicole here is going to text about it first. She's going to be like, me first. Take me.
If that happens, I hope this podcast lives in forever.
This podcast is going in the time capsule. Those 2 crazy chicks, the witch and the medium.
She manifested. I better be careful, because I be manifesting like crazy. So I got to be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful with your manifesting. If you're a good manifester, I know some of my mentees out there and students are really good manifestors. Be careful. Be careful.
Hang around with more. Listen to us if you want to manifest more shit, because we're on that train. And for 2026, we ain't getting off that train.
We are going to continue manifesting love and peace and harmony as much as possible. Thank you, Lady Shadow. This has been fabulous. And to everyone, may your new year be filled with so much love and peace and manifesting all the positive things for your life. Thank you,
See you
everyone.
in 2026, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us this episode for the Soul Twin Stars podcast. Find us on our podcast Facebook page for Magical Mondays live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we will help you magically slay your weekdays, and for awesome giveaways. For more information about what other spiritual things Nik and I do and offer, visit peacefulnikthemedium.com. That's Nik with just a K. Or to connect with me, Lady Shadow, soulsandspirits.com is the place to go. If you want to be a guest on one of our shows, we would absolutely love that. Contact us at soultwinstars@gmail.com. See you next Friday on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Facebook, and on YouTube. Sending you all so many blessings. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, know that you are all cherished.